Hey everybody, welcome to the Rawle and Gene Show. That way, that's Rawle, and I'm Gene. And this our show is all about the power of coaching. Rawle, I think we're gonna have a little bit of fun with this show today, aren't we?
Well, being that laughter is in the theme, I don't think so. I don't think so. It's funny. Before we get into this, you keep saying I got to find a different intro. I don't know if I like the intro, and every time it plays, I'll just start bopping.
So I saw you bopping, and then I started to bop, and it was like the same thing back on my other show, the Livecast Conversations with. It had a real I would say like a techno upbeat
Mhm.
thing and intro back in the old days,
Right,
and everybody before the cameras would go on, would just watch them dancing along and kind of getting into it. There's you got to have a little bit of fun and laughter at
yeah.
ourselves. Here we are dancing along, having a little bit of fun.
And to me, that's the key. Is it may not be a fun type of experience or environment, but if you actually look, the humor is always there. Humor is always is everywhere in life, and if you look
Yes.
for it, if you really look for it, and more importantly, not just looking for it, if you just be with yourself and be an observer, you'll see it. I see it all the time. Just like yesterday, I'm watching these two birds have a fight, and I'm like, are you fighting or are you playing? I'm not sure what you're doing. And my humorous at this moment because it looked like one was more taunting another one. And I'm like, yeah, and the more I observe life, I realize, my God, we're hard on ourselves as humans. The animals do the same damn thing that we do as well to some degree. So,
Oh,
oh,
and it's part of that nature of it all is like, well, we all go through things,
yeah,
and there's an opportunity to like sometimes you just gotta laugh and find the humor in it. That's not always easy for some. I will say for myself, going to the humor was always my tool. Like I
mhm,
found humor I found humor to be protective. If I'm to be 100% honest in this moment, is like when I was younger, I was learned to be funny because it kept me from being chased by my bullies, and it kept me, in a place that I could stand out and stand up to people. Actually use humor in a sometimes in a not nice way on the receiving end to some of those bullies. But when the whole rest of that class would be laughing, it wasn't me on the stand that day.
yeah. Oh,
And I
sorry, go ahead. Yeah,
and I think as well, like humor humor was an escape.
yeah. Well, it can be an escape. You can use it as a means to deflect. A lot of times people use laughter or humor as a means to deflect away from themselves, away from them dealing with something that's stressful or something that's kind of a heavy subject. Um, it's a way to sometimes mask trauma.
Mhm.
There's pros and cons to everything. It's just I want to sit there and go. When you think of laughter, it's all good. It's good in its pure sense, but it's how we use it. It's just another tool.
Yeah.
It's a natural tool that's built into all of us. Some of us, obviously have more access to it. Laughter to me is the end result of of humor, which ties into intellect. This is why sometimes when you look at some of the more brilliant comedians, they tend to be the best dramatic actors because I think in order to do comedy and to get people to laugh, you have to have the ability to really be smart and know how to craft your jokes and all these things and how to capture and be a really good storyteller. But laughter and humor is a very important part of our lives, just from a holistic standpoint. um, how it affects our body, affects our heart, our brain, the endorphins that's released in the body. I think humor, laughter is on the human pleasure list. Obviously orgasm is number one. We should do a show just on orgasm one day. Sneezing is right behind, if I remember correctly, right behind orgasm, and then I think it was laughter, or it might be reversed, but it's right up there.
Yeah.
in regards to the mental effects that it has on the body and the release of endorphins that you feel. This is why, when you have a good laugh, you feel it throughout your whole body. It's because the body's just flooded.
Just it's a release on so many levels of like a whole bunch of like the happy hormones that are flowing through you, but it's also like it can be very cathartic too, right? Like just to let your body be like, oh, we laughed that off, like we laughed through that, and just to have that release is probably up there with like the double breath, where if you might have seen like dogs or kids naturally do the like it's just like, oh, the body can be like at peace. And I think with laughter as well, like why laughter is contagious, and now I'm wondering is laughter, why it's so high on that list and being contagious as well? Was it part of what helped us in our survival mode many eons ago as a species, to be able to actually come to relax after being chased by the saber-toothed tiger?
Well, yeah, I think adversity. What's that saying? Misery loves company, and I think when you survive, when you survive any kind of trauma or any kind of that kind of, you want to call it, negative experience, it bonds you.
Yeah.
And then if you can, being silly, laughing at it, gets you to de-stress yourself. Laughter is not just, it helps to boost your immune system, and there's so many things that the benefits for it, mental health. But it's also a bonding agent, because if you and I go through something very, very traumatic, and when we're talking about it, part of the laughter, is this like, wow, can you actually believe we survived that?
Yeah.
So it serves in so many facets of our lives, and it's just like a good bowel movement. I don't think people every day, to move yourself emotionally, either through laughter or through tears. Every month I I'll purposely watch things that will make me feel joy, make me laugh, or make me cry. Right. So I think it's an important tool, and especially in today's, in the times we're living. When we were talking about this next show, it made me think of Dave Chappelle and some of the other comedians who feel that comedy is under attack. And I'm like, man, if we ever lose comedy, if we ever lose our ability to laugh, we're in serious trouble as a humanity. Serious trouble. I mean, some might say we're already in serious trouble, but if that somehow goes away, is taken away, I don't know if I'd want to live in that world. You know what I mean? That we can't laugh. We can't laugh at ourselves. We can't laugh at the silliness of life. We can't laugh of, oh my God, can you believe we survived that?
Yeah.
Kind of thing. Oh my God, she loves me. She says, me. And it doesn't always have to be this butt gusting laugh. Just even a little smirk on your face. So yeah, I think it's a powerful tool that we need to understand more, and I invite people to, there's a I'm sure you can find a lot of good, more in-depth scientific look at laughter if you want that aspect, or the psychology of laughter. But just look at it from your own perspective. Be an observer in your life and look at the role that laughter has played. And I think sometimes we don't think of it that way.
I think that's an interesting space for place to go with that there, especially around what we're doing as coaching is, one of the steps around, one of the tools we can use with coaching is like understanding the topic that you're at in a perspective. Mm-hmm. What if the perspective is hunting for the humor in it? Mm-hmm. What do you find different? How do you see this differently when you're hunting for the humor? Oh, I didn't get my laugh in today.
Right.
I'm going to go hunt for my humor. I'm going to hunt for that laugh. And even thinking about it makes it feel kind of silly and oh, that's going to be fun. And what am I going to find? What am I going to learn?
I love the way you're saying it. I just love it. I'm going hunting. I feel like we're with Elmer Fudd.
We got our
and getting
hunting rascally laughs
something
today.
laughter. I can do very well, but that's a great way to look at it, because how many people actually do stop to think, where's my laughter?
Yeah.
Why am I not laughing?
Oh,
Or am I laughing enough? And that's why I said, really step into and observe in your life, and think about how often do you laugh, and when was the last time you had that visceral, gut busting laughter that you peed your pants?
Getting to a little TMI on this show. All of a sudden.
I have this one memory from years ago. Might have been, I don't know. I don't even know. I was 20. Porky's. I don't know if you remember the movie Porky's.
I remember Porky's.
And
maybe some of our audience might
not. I know, well, dating myself, I'm old right here. But my buddies and I went to the movies to see Porky's, and we got lit. We got lit. And it's funny watching the movies, being high all of a sudden went away because the movie was so hilarious. I found myself, for those of you that smoke, if you get a little high, you laugh at everything at a lot of times. This wasn't that. And I so remember that. I remember literally being on the theater floor, holding my gut because I was laughing so hard. I always remember that. So, I think it's important to have those kind of memories, because I'm sitting here right now telling a story, and the mental images in my head of
it's
me.
probably just like you were right then.
Oh, yeah. And I remember the scene of the movie. It was, I'm not going to get into it. If you want to know, go watch the movie. It is old, but it stands the test of time.
I think it's on Prime still.
I don't know. Yeah.
And
actually.
But what's interesting about that is because laughter is such a high peak emotion, is like because you had that high peak experience in the emotion, it like cemented that memory for you. Sadness does the same thing, happiness, joy, like all these anger, all these high peak emotions will cement that memory. And because the power of laughter cemented that memory for you, and like you started laughing before even telling it, and rejoicing, you probably felt a lot of the same feelings again, and seeing that memory come up tied to going, when was that last time I had a good laugh? Here it is.
I've had many since then, but that I don't know why that came up, but it did come up, and it's a good memory, and it even puts a smile on my face. I would like to think I laugh a lot. And I think it's important. That's why I said, be an observer, step out of yourself and really look at, am I laughing enough?
Yeah.
Do I have enough? Do I look for reasons to laugh, even in sometimes the most, dire situations? I think sometimes laughter can put us in a frame of mind where we could look at things in a different way, even when we're going through it. Like I said, there's humor in everything, and maybe, if you're someone's funeral and they open up the casket, that may not be the time. But then again, depends on what's going on. You never know.
Yeah.
Because the person that passed may not want all the morbid seriousness, and they want people to laugh. I don't want to be that kind of person. I don't want you sitting there crying, missing me. Party, have fun, spark one up. Let's just enjoy life. But, it's be an observer in your life, and really, we obviously grasp and hold on to the negative. This is just as important to grasp and hold on to and go, how much am I laughing? How much am I getting that release of endorphins through humor and laughter? How is, that, to me, that's one of the cornerstones of your mental health, of your physical, emotional health as well. To have humor, to have laugh, to be able to look at the silly side of life, to be able to have someone use intelligence and good crafting to make you laugh as well. Sarcasm, knowing how to use sarcasm in balance. I'm a That's my go-to. I'm a very sarcastic person, and sometimes,
You don't say.
but to use that in balance as well, because I think if you get out of balance with sarcasm, then it kind of taps into your anger and like why right. So there's a balance with everything.
And I think, like with all of it is like, I go back to like the wheel of life is like, it's also like the wheel of emotion is like, you got to experience them all for the wheel to spin right. And thinking about it on like a laughter audit is like, well, when was the last time you even had like a chuckle? Oh, got laugh, but like, did you have a chuckle this week? Have you made yourself laugh? I think I'm the funniest person around because I I make myself laugh all the time. There may be others that don't agree with that, but
but no, it's true. And like, but particularly when I'm doing couples counseling and working with couples, one of the things I ask them is like, outside of the talk around sex and sex life and all that, it's like laughter. How often do you guys laugh? Do you look for laughter? Do you look to prank each other? Do you look for reasons to laugh? Right? Like I said, to me, it's one of the man, it's like glue. It's one of those things that can really bond you and bring you together. So I think particularly from anyone in relationships, whether it's romantic or not, part of the evaluation is the relationship working is, do we enjoy? Do we laugh a lot? Do we laugh?
Are we having some laughs?
Are we having some laughs?
Are we having laughs together? Yeah. Not necessarily at one another, but like, can we, can maybe sometimes, but like, can it still have that fun edge?
Yeah.
Right? Is this the healthy laughter? Is it making me feeling connected to the moment? Am I, being in that place? Is my laughter allowing me to live up to my values?
One of the reasons I love doing this show is even if we had no topic, if we just turned the camera on, I think you and I, just from talking alone, would talk and laugh. I'm serious.
Well, we've laughed at, like, I'm thinking of some of like our times sitting around a coffee shop, probably annoying everybody else while we're gut laughing and poking fun at each other and
not caring,
just not caring,
not caring, because But that's what I mean, and that's that bonding agent component of it, and knowing that, excuse me, that you have that in common with someone that you feel secure, safe enough to laugh with, truly laugh. I'm talking like from the gut, from the heart, not just kind of, this kind of patriotic, patronizing type of laugh. Is your laugh is like Rawle. It's like Gene's really laughing.
Yes.
And to me, that comes from having that kind of bond and developing that kind of relationship where humor is a central part of what we do. Even when we were working together, when I was coaching you, we laughed. A lot. Yeah. So I think it's an important component. I think it's like whistling while you work. It makes life palatable. It gives you a different perspective. It gives you an insight to the people that you're dealing with. It helps develop that camaraderie. The benefits are endless. I'm sure people can think of some of their own benefits for themselves. So
yeah, the thing that I want to like point back here to that you said that's like really caught me in all of that. There was lots of goodness there, but the idea of like being able to laugh and it being like a sign of security in a relationship, like regardless of the type of relationship, be it with your friends, be it with your spouse, be it with your your boss or whatever, is like, can there be, because there's humor in life, and are you able to find that and can it be true laughter and humor that you're sharing, and for the context of that relationship, in the context of what you're doing, are those laughs genuine? And then go back and look at going, hey, if you're questioning this, where you're at on the health of that relationship, is like, when was the last time we laughed?
Yeah.
As not, like everything starts within.
Yep.
And then if you've gone and hunted for your laughter of the day, going, where can I bring a laughter for, where can I find laughter with others? Is there an opportunity for me to make somebody else have their daily laugh?
Right. And I think and like you said, it starts from within, and it's like, are you making yourself laugh?
Yeah.
Are you looking for the humor in
Like,
your inner world and everything?
you got to go fill up your laughter cup before, and then serve it from
Yeah,
out there.
yeah, exactly. And sound like it's everything about. And sometimes, in order to fill up your cup, you do need to look for it externally. But I always invite people to look at yourself first. Because if you don't feel that you're laughing enough, is it really the external world or is it really you?
Yeah.
Right? Do you really need that external energy to laugh, or can you do that with yourself? Whether it's watching videos, reading, whatever. This is a powerful tool. Imagination, it's one of its guides, and I think is having the power to use your imagination to see how you want to be, but also seeing how you can fill those gaps, and what's stopping you from laughing. Right? Is it a situation that you're going through right now, which is understandable, but even in that. That's why I always say, I'm here to experience the good, the bad, the ugly, and the beautiful. And even when good shows are bad, ugly, and beautiful are accompanying it as well.
Yeah.
Go back and you examine your life. Sometimes even when you're in a good space, bad stuff still happens. But for some reason, it doesn't really take you down that slippery slope. Or in reverse, when you're going through bad, traumatic stuff, good still shows up. And it may not be enough to take you out of it right there in the moment, but it's just like a sign to say, sunny days are coming, happy days are coming.
Yeah, right? You got to keep going through.
Going through, and this is why it's important to, can you get to a point where you're flowing through these experiences, whether they're good, bad, ugly, beautiful, consistently you, and being balanced.
And part of that laughter, is like, makes me think of like, lifting the fog up is like laughter, part of the source that lifts the fog, even if it's just for a moment, so you can be like, oh, there is blue sky up there. Okay, this isn't forever, and this moment will change, and these clouds will lift, and I will be able to see where I'm going again.
And that's why it's important, because it just lets you know for a moment, just for a moment, it'll be okay. You're not going to be in this forever. So it's I've been watching part of my guilty vices. I've been watching a lot of Family Guy on YouTube. And as much as Peter annoys me, that little boyish giggle that he has, just every time I hear it, this is what, it's a funny show. It's just so brilliantly written and just so offsides about life. So, things like that.
Yeah.
I'll watch Family Guy. I have no shame in admitting it. I never took to South Park, although I see the same brilliance, but it's not I don't like it. I just enjoy Family Guy more.
Yeah.
But, I'll watch anything that moves me. I'll watch.
And the thing about laughter and the peak emotions is like they move you. That's their job, is to like move you. And how do you want to move today? You want to move with a little bit of fuel from the laughter tank? It's like, well, how then do you take that movement and then translate that in the rest of the world? How is everyone around you? How is your impact happening, right?
Yeah.
What happens? What do people then see of you when you're laughing? It almost feels like we have like a tool around this coming that's actually out.
Well, do tell. But we do have a tool that's what, a week old now, I guess.
A week old, yeah. The Me I Don't See is like, and now for our sponsored component of the show, the Me I Don't See assessment and workshop. So again, I think we've talked about this on every one of our shows so far, is we're running the Me I Don't See experience, which is an opportunity kind of into 3 stages. The first one is the assessment, where when you sign up, you send it out up to 15 people, and they're going to tell you, how do you show up? How's that impacting? And then asking them to share one truth that you don't see about yourself.
Yeah.
And then once you've gathered all that, we're going to take you through 2 workshops to debrief this, to understand it. And then the second one is to how do you use this then to move forward.
Yeah.
And from there, there's the invitation at the end to join our mastermind that we'll be running after the end of the second workshop.
And there'll be more, I mean, it's a little bit more in depth than that. I mean, even within those three questions, there's sub questions that will help you to dig deeper in regards to that. It's important, and I think part of the debrief in the first workshop is going to be us actually having you do some of these questions live in the moment, and then being able to pair the way you see yourself and where others see, and see where the what the balance is. That's why, to me, being an observer of one's life and others is a great way. The way sometimes you look at others. Do you look at yourself that way? The way you love someone, do you love yourself that way? So sometimes it's hard for us to see because we're in it. This is why it's important to ask people that you truly value, right? And then sometimes just people that may have just only met you. Sometimes they might be the most honest because they've just met you. They don't have a long history with you. But either way, you get to decide, and you don't have to do all 15. Some people may not want 15, but it's up to 15.
Yeah.
Because one of the reasons Gene and I did it this way, it's not new, but many people have done workshops and have felt after their workshops either somehow empty, or it didn't live up to whatever expectations they had, or they themselves, more than likely, didn't implement the things that were taught.
Yeah.
And I always tell people that's where you were then. This workshop, when we were building it, the one of the core tenets in the foundation of it, for me, was brutal honesty. Here's a chance for you to be brutally honest with yourself so you can start crafting what it is you want. Because again, going back from my own experience, one of the reasons a lot of things didn't work before is not that the content wasn't good. That wasn't because the facilitators wasn't good. I just wasn't doing shit.
Yeah.
And I wasn't being honest with myself. So,
we've all been down that path before, and it's only going to be as good as what you want to put into it. And that's life, period.
Yeah.
Like, what do you want to put into it? It's like what you're going to get out of it.
Whatever you're going to get out of it. I mean, we're going to cover stuff like, letting go and worthiness and all these things. But those won't mean anything if you're not truly showing up ready to do something different. And the different is, once you go through this, then how are you going to implement it? Think of it like a workshop, this workshop as an intent. I just wrote a piece around ethics, which is a big thing for me these days, and kind of comparing ethics and intent. Intent is great, What's that saying? The road to hell's paved with intentions. Yeah, because intentions is not just it's also a verb, and you need to implement it to get results.
Yeah.
Right? Ethics is the same thing. You need to implement it to get results. These workshops, the contents of it is no different. Yeah. You must implement them to get results. And if you're not implementing them, you are getting results, but you're not going to like those results. More than likely, you're going to be quick to blame other people. Yeah. So.
And it could be random, right? And it ties back to an acronym I'm using with my clients is like set it, right? It's the set part is strategy, execution, tactics, but the it part is intentions and techniques. None of it matters without the direction of the intention and the techniques that you're applying on the daily basis. And how do you want to tweak and work and use and I think we talked about this in our pilot episode, is the actions are the vehicle for the intention. And it's up to you on how you're going to then deploy that vehicle to drive your intentions to where you're hoping it goes.
Yeah. And it's always up to the individual. I did a team workshop last night online, and it's the same thing I was telling this group. It doesn't matter what I say, and in the moment, oh, you're so good and love listening to you. Well, that means nothing. I mean, I appreciate it, but are you going to actually do the work? Right. Or you just you're just a wallflower at these workshops. You got professional workshoppers who love to just go to workshops and talk and make themselves sound intelligent. Back in the day, I'm being honest. You show up and no, it's an opportunity to show how smart and intelligent you are, blah, blah, blah. And then
then you get to talk about all the workshops you've been to.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like a fancy MLM scheme. Be like, look at all the workshops I've been to. You should go to.
Especially when your companies are willing to pay for it, right? But then you're not willing to do anything. You're not actually willing to implement it. So it really doesn't matter what anyone says. Is what are you willing to do now? This is why I say intent is one thing, but are you going to implement it?
Yes.
And a lot of people think, well, the power of intent, and it's all about intent. No, it's not. It's intent and action. Without action,
it's a plus sign. It's an and. It's not an or.
Yeah. Without action, it means nothing. It's the same thing. Go ahead. Yeah.
And vice versa, right? I think about like the times I've spent in action without intent. Like those are some gong shows too.
This moment of humor was brought to you by Rawle's cell phone. I thought I turned off all my notifications, and then it made me choke, Gene. I got over. No. Anyway, sorry about that. You gotta love life when it happens, man. Yeah, I took you out of your flow, man. I took you out of your flow.
No, I was in the flow. That's all right. The place I kind of want to like leave my last point on is this image that's come up around laughter. It's like, it's the seven dwarves are like, whistle while you work. It's like, laugh while you work. It's like, have a little bit of fun while doing it. It's like, can you find the humor in it? Can you make yourself laugh while you're doing the hard stuff, be it at the work, be it at the gym, be it at your relationship or wherever? It's like, while you work.
I have a new acronym. I'm going to challenge you and whoever may be listening to make this acronym become a thing. Let's make it go viral.
All right.
It's UFNILAEDT. You think it's short enough?
One more time. UFN.
Until further notice, I'm laughing at every damn thing. That was
UFNILAEDT.
UFNILAEDT. Yeah. Until further notice, I'm laughing at every damn thing. But in one of my poems, I think I ended the piece like that. Until further notice, I'm celebrating every damn thing. So I just took the celebrating out and put laughter in. But all kidding aside, one of the things that really keeps me sane is my ability to laugh at myself and to laugh at life.
Yeah.
Not that I don't know the severity of some experiences, but at the end of the day, it will pass, or it will pass over a number of days, and and before you know it, you'll be able to see the humor. This is why some people go, they'll tell a joke. Oh, wait, too soon? Yeah, too soon. But that means that one day you'll be able to laugh about it, right? You'll be able to laugh about it. Yeah. So I think it's a good thing. And, this is why, I think, continuing the self-promo, the self-plug. This is why I think, the Me I Don't See workshop is timely. Sorry, it's not the Me I Don't See workshops, the Me I Don't See experience.
It's an experience.
But, well, it's
fancy that way, aren't we?
Well, you're dealing with two knuckleheads at us. It's definitely an experience for you. But no, I think one of the things I hope, and I say hoping now because it's not started yet. Coming in May though, because I've been getting people asking when are the workshops actually starting. So Gene and I will sit down and pick a date and start and let you know, and this is what we're going to shoot for, and then continue to challenge you to sign up and come and support the workshop and keep us into the habits that we've gotten accustomed to. But I just think it is timely. I think with everything that's going on in the world right now, or at least the perception and how we feel, part of the invitation is to get your house in order and to get yourself right with yourself internally. And a big part of that is the humor component, the laughter. You know, like I said, I don't know this officially, but behind orgasm and sneezing, laughter is right there.
Based on some facts that we may have just made up, it sounds right on the spot.
It sounds good to me. I don't know. I get to have an orgasm, I get to sneeze, and I get to laugh. Hell yeah.
That's a good day.
That's a good day.
They might all happen at the same time.
Well, I don't, especially the way I sneeze. So, but no, come on out, man. You know, jump in the pool. The water is warm, and you know the whole reason for this podcast is to hopefully enlighten you, not just on the topic of the day, why coaching is important. And excuse me, like I said, you know, for me, I honestly don't think I'd be sitting here if those two earth angels didn't come into my life some 20 years ago now and help me through this internal process and helping me feel safe and stepping into my abyss so I can, you know, get my internal house in order. So I'm grateful to be here. You know, this is where resiliency comes from. It comes from the hard, ugly, and beautiful parts of life.
Yeah.
It helps you to sharpen your character. And it's like, I think it's one of the things I just wrote in this piece I did around ethics. We, for some reason, or we've forgotten the importance of the bad and ugly of life. You know, that's where our true resiliency, we tend to get them from those types of experiences, not the good and the beautiful, right? So, yeah, and we're good guys. We're good guys.
That's what kind of good. Put on our business card.
Hi, Rawle James Coaching. We're good guys. Yes. But you see, after, man, it's just, you know, my body is tingling now. I can feel the like, where do we need to go? Which part of the body didn't get some? Which one? So anyway, I think we're getting close to the end of the show.
I think we are, brother.
We're getting silly now.
Well, we're wrapping the show about the power of humor and how humor is for us, it's a big part of our friendship and brotherhood, and where this continues to take us, and what we're building with the show, with the experience, with Peel Back, and like in our lives is like, we're gonna keep laughing until further notice. We're laugh at every damn thing.
And before you wrap it up, Gene, you know, to our listeners and the ones that will be listening when we post this up, if you have topics you want us to cover, please in the comments, you know, let us know, or direct message Gene and I. We're always open to your suggestions. You know, that's the name, the Rawle and Gene Show. You know, I think we were probably leaning some other way, and someone said to Gene, you know, when do you ever put yourself out there? So Rawle and Gene Show stuck. And I
think that person was you.
Maybe. I'm supposed to say that part. But no, we do, you know, we encourage you to share your insights, and then if there's topics of the show, or how do you see this show growing, or what would you like to see us, how you'd like to see us grow. Thanks, Deb, for saying that. Yeah.
You guys are becoming my Friday church. Yes. Well, I have been calling Rawle my Black Jesus for some time now, so this does fit.
Well, Black Jesus or Black Gandalf, right? I just want to know, why do you have to keep adding the Gandalf part? You thought I was going to say black, didn't you? But no, one of my other poets, he goes, yeah, well, I don't know if it's one up. He goes, you're like Black Moses. He goes, he lifted his mighty hands and parted the poetry sea, kind of thing. So I don't know. I appreciate you saying that. We've been joking about that for years now. So.
Years now.
But no, thanks a lot for saying that, Deb. You know,
it means a lot to us both.
We look forward to doing this, and it's quite I don't know, it's quite therapeutic for me. It's, you know, it's like every week I get a 45-minute hour blast of coaching, fun coaching tips with my buddy Gene. So I'm glad you're enjoying it. I'm glad you're making it part of your routine. So thank you so much.
Yeah, we appreciate it. And to everybody else, thank you for watching, and we're glad that you've laughed along with us. We hope you've laughed along with us today.
Yeah,
and we'll be
I
back.
hope you learned something. So
definitely. And Rawle, we'll be back next Friday live here to do episode 3. If you guys like Rawle said, if anyone has any ideas for topics that they want to see covered, definitely let us know, because we are keeping a list of all of them, and we're going to have some fun with show 3. Yes, we're at a hotel here for my daughter's dance, and my wife is moving by quickly, so she's not in the camera. So we're definitely having a laugh here.
We saw you.
Rawle saw you. All right, everybody. Until next Friday, we'll talk to you later.
You guys have fun. See you next week, bud.